y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley and Ashley. This is Collective Convo. I keep getting a bunch of fucking topics to talk about, and I feel like they could all be within one topic, but it's gonna be hella heavy if we talk about all of this in one. So I'm gonna break it into four, at least. First and foremost, we're gonna talk about energy harvesting. So I want to use a couple of current events that are happening here in the United States to talk about this. Like, for instance, today's funeral that happened in here in Arizona. It's in Phoenix, so I'm not in Phoenix, thank God. But there was, I don't want to say the person's name. You guys know if you pay attention to the news. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll say it once, and then I'm not going to refer to him again by that name. Charlie Kirk. I didn't know who this person was until they died. I do not believe that this person is dead. I believe that what happened was staged. I looked at a lot of footage of the event. I don't know about you, or if you know this about me, but I enjoy breaking down conspiracies and government theater is a good word for this. Politricks, okay? Like I said, I didn't know who this person was. He's not someone that I consume energy from. But I want to talk about the energy harvesting. So a lot of people, okay, so we know that this weekend is like super strong, and today's the solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse. It's the new moon in Libra. Libra is the sign of justice and balance, which I think we could arguably, it doesn't matter what side you're on, I think we could agree, well, I think it does matter what side you're on. If you're on the side of, humanity and yay, life, and I'm not talking about in a pro-life way, I'm talking about like, you're alive, you have free will, which equals pro-choice. Anyway, all that to say is, I'm getting off topic. I personally don't believe this person is dead. I watched a lot of things that people covered, and maybe I should share those. I think they're in my TikTok bank. Let me see here. I save a lot of shit. Alright, so first and foremost, I also have studied like the JFK assassination and all of that shit, right? I don't believe Jeffrey Epstein is dead either. I have a hard time believing that, I think that a lot of celebrities are killed and die. But I think in some of these times, not all of them. Now we need to remember, first and foremost, let's frame the stage. Trump is Hollywood. Okay, he is first and foremost someone who was a celebrity. Alright, I think it's very important that we keep those things in mind when we see things like this. Also, that was it Plato or Socrates? I don't know who said it, but someone a long time ago said, the earth or the world is a stage. Okay. Now, as far as energy harvesting goes, I used to really enjoy things like concerts and things like that when I was a lot younger. Since I've been in my spiritual badassery, I do not really enjoy being around people at all. Mostly because of energy transfer. Remember, I tell you all the time, we are electromagnetic beings. We all have, within 25 yards of us, or within 25 feet of our heart, other people can, feel it, right? It doesn't need to be a conscious thing. But once you are conscious of it, then it is. Do not be disrespectful. I don't think I have it. So, there's a lot of my videos that are missing, which is interesting. I wonder... Nile Valley, go in the other room, please. Thank you, bye. God, I like so many videos every fucking day. I spend a lot of time on TikTok. Let me see if I can find this quick. When did that happen? What was the date? Oh. What was the date that happened? Yeah. What date did that happen? That's very important. Did that happen on the... September 10th. Interesting. I'm trying to find this footage, but regardless, there was something on his shirt or on his shirt or under his shirt, and the time that the shot happened, it shot from his shirt to his neck, and then the blood. But there was if you go back and watch, maybe I can just find it. There was something. So, and then in addition to that, the thing on his shirt. People are saying that it was like a lapel microphone. Is there any footage of this? Still. And then there were two guys behind him who were doing baseball movements, and we saw that happen with the FBI director a couple days afterward. He started doing baseball movements. So there's some sort of nonverbal communication amongst these people that I don't think there's any footage of the original right now, which is interesting. A reader that I really appreciate who has who is decolonizing, anti-racist, and doing decolonizing work. She just made a statement, which is why I got all of these. I'm watching Always Be My Maybe. Have you guys seen this movie? It's so funny. Anyway, she said, spiritual psychosis is a thing. So as these Christian evangelicals are talking about how the rapture is happening on the 23rd, Israel is doing a very real ritual on the 23rd, I believe. I don't know. I haven't looked that up myself. I've heard a lot of hearsay about that. Israel, red heifer ritual. When is that happening? The red heifer ritual was an ancient Jewish purification ceremony where a pure red heifer was sacrificed burned with scarlet wood, cedar wood, and hyssop, and ashes mixed with water to create a purification water for ritually impure. Oh my God. The purpose of the ritual was to provide the means for people to become ritually clean. So this is like cannibalism, even more so than other things. I'm a vegetarian, and I ain't fucking scared of him. There's a reason I don't eat meat, and these are the reasons why. 2025. I don't know if that's factual information or not. Anyway, the whole point is that energy harvesting. So today, with the funeral or whatever it was held in an enclosed stadium. So much like Hollywood concerts and stuff, they're held within a closed stadium. When the energy harvesting is very real. So you get all of these hundreds of thousands of people in one space, and they have feelings, and those feelings can be transmuted into power. Okay. It's like a feeding energy, and because it's not tangible, people think people are crazy when they talk about it, whatever. Energy is everything. We talk about this all the time. And the more conscious you are, the more you are aware of your energy and other people's energy, and that's why you will probably more than likely isolate at some point in time in your journey, if not for the rest of your life. So when energy harvesting is being done, so there's this relationship between energy harvesting, I have it written on this dry erase board, spiritual psychosis, elitism, and the Abrahamic religions and patriarch, right? So those are the topics that all of this just came to me. So what I feel like is going to happen, because the Christians, I already did a collective convo about my thoughts on the rapture, but then these thoughts came after that. My thoughts on the rapture are essentially, why do you feel like you get to leave the country or the earth, the planet, when you're part of the reason it is so horrible? Why do you feel like you get to go to heaven? Right? I grew up in Christian household up until the point of 15, and then I left the church, so I understand the mentality around Christianity. Um, but from a really young age, I called out the hypocrisy within my own family, within the Christian beliefs, right? Like, we would go to church, we'd get all aesthetically pleasing and dressed up for church, and we'd sit there and listen to the sermon, and I wouldn't be able to wiggle or doodle or anything. I'd have to sit there. So I listened. And then when we would go home, my family would be talking shit about I was the youngest. They would be, judging people as we, like, and so for me, it was like, what are you doing? Like, we were just at church, and, like, Jesus said not to judge people. Like, God's the only one that could judge. So, like, why are you judging people? That's not your job. It's not your place, according to what you believe, right? So, I mean, that was my own hypocrisy. There were other reasons I left the church, but that started at a very young age, when I was like, what? Calling out the bullshit in my family. So I think I shared that story because I think that there's so much hypocrisy around, especially extremist religion, which Christian evangelicalism is. Now, the patriarch is also extreme, right? So I'm seeing, okay, so this reader said, spiritual psychosis is very real. What if he comes back? So the Christians truly believe that everyone who was a Christian believed in Jesus Christ's salvation, or whatever. I mean, Jesus, I'm cool with Jesus. Jesus is the prophet. But if you actually listen to Jesus' teachings, it is not what religion teaches. They've idolized someone and turned him into something he did not want to be, right? I mean, if you really read the things that Jesus said, he would, if he was going to come back, he would come back guns a-slinging, kicking some ass, and the ass that he would be kicking would be the people behind the pulpit and everyone else involved, right? Let's keep it so fucking for real. Jesus was a hippie. He was friends with, all of the people that this administration are deeming terrorists, prostitutes, homeless folks. I mean, come on. So there's this cognitive dissonance between actually what Jesus and other prophets were about, right? Muhammad for Islam. I have no clue about Judaism, and honestly, I'm good on that. No offense, but it's gotten skewed to this point. I think I'm good. I don't even really want to know the roots. So I have a lot of Jewish friends, but like anti-Zionist Jewish friends, but it's not something that I've ever really been into. It's one religion I've never really felt called to. So anyway, all of that to say is all of those religions are Abrahamic religions, and that supports the patriarch, okay? So we have this person who was killed, and now we have people being scapegoated for that death. We have people speculating about a rapture happening this week. Literally, these white women are making videos about what you're gonna do when you start being beamed up to meet Sky Daddy. Okay. And okay. So what my friend reader said, Sarah is her name, and she said, spiritual psychosis is real. What if he comes back? The elite use the spiritual psychosis to keep people where they want them. And she said, and people are exactly where they want them to be, right? Right now, so having these people drawing these lines of parallel to this person who was killed last week, in my beliefs, I'm allowed to believe what I want. I do not think that man is dead. There's no way that man is dead. So I feel like, I mean, I've studied the history of the United States extensively, and this is right on par with many of the other tactics that the United States has used to scapegoat individuals or groups of people or countries of people or continents of people. These are the things that the United States does to give themselves this reason to get involved, okay? It's what colonizers do. That's the whole mentality of colonialism, is well, we need to, have a reason so that people like join the bandwagon, right? The mind control is happening through energy harvesting, and that energy is being harvested to make these people a lot stronger, especially if there are certain rituals that are going to be taking place this week. This energy. So think about it. If you've ever been to a concert, I feel like that's a pretty common. I'm not saying you can't do those things. I love concerts too. But I am saying think about how much energy is generated at a concert. Everyone's excited. Everyone's on edge. They're like, what song is going to be next? You don't know the playlist. People are, there's so much energy. So this energy that was harvested today, I am not going to watch any footage of the ceremony. I don't care that much. But everything that was harvested at that stadium stayed within that thing. And remember, just because you can't touch it or see it doesn't mean you can't feel it, right? And that's what energy is. Energy is something that you can feel. Again, going back to, we are electromagnetic beings. So, like when your heart beats, when your adrenaline's pumping, when you're feeling something and your nervous system is acting up, there's a reason for that. Like your nervous system is what is telling you what you should feel or if you are safe, okay? So when you have hundreds of thousands of people in one area feeling similarly, regardless of what that feeling is, it's energy. And it's easily manipulated and it's easily transferred. I have the ability to transmute energy. So I have a lot of haters. I know, hey, what's up? But I don't deserve to have people hating on me. So immediately when that energy enters my force field, it's shifted into something that I can use. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad coming from someone else. All it is to me is, oh, I'm receiving this. Okay, let me use it. I don't know how I got this way, but I am this way, and it's something that I can do. It's not, I didn't always used to be like that. I had a very, but now I have thick skin because of the things I've been through. So I don't allow, like I said, I don't allow bad or good judgment. Again, it's just energy, right? Think of a light switch, okay? You turn a light on or off. I don't know if that's a good analogy. It doesn't feel like a good analogy. Anyway, okay, forget that. So a lot of people are speculating. Everybody's talking. Everyone has a theory. I made a friend yesterday who is MAGA. And I'm going to use friend as a loose... I mean, we're acquaintances. But we exchanged phone numbers yesterday, and I immediately, I think that's the thing, like, this society is, like, insane. But when I found out that they were MAGA, I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Please tell me about that. Because there's so many contradictions within this person's identity that being a MAGA would be detrimental to them. And so for me, I'm like, oh, wow. Really? Please tell me about that. And they really didn't have anything to say. And so it was very sad. But I'm just sharing that because it's just the energy that is harvested by folks who believe these things so wholeheartedly without, like, there's this blind faith. And I think that there's just I've been thinking about this a lot since yesterday because of this conversation that I had. I was just like, wow, I'm surprised at that. Okay. And then I was like, immediately felt like I'm not safe to be talking to this person. I'm like, I'm good here. I'm good on this. And I'm not going to anymore. Like, I'm good. But for me, it was just like, because they brought this up, they were like immediately like, well, what do you think about Charlie Kirk? And I'm like, oh, whoa, okay, we're going there. And I said, well, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't think he's dead. I don't believe any narratives that the government give us. Point blank period. I'm able to critically think. I think for myself. And from what I saw firsthand and the way that other people were laying it out, I don't believe he's dead. I don't think that was received well. But I let him share. I was like, what about you? And then I asked, this is when I found out about the Trumper, the MAGA. I said, were you like a fan or like of them? And they were like, a fan of Trump? And I was like, both? And they were like, yeah, I'm 100% with Trump and Kirk. And I was like, oh, we're gonna pivot now. And I'm gonna watch what I say in this conversation a little bit more. So anyway, I have this reminder, be a nice human. I think all of that to say, though, is that the stronghold that, and they said that too, they were like, I'm a Christian, so I was like, wow, I'm just like so shocked right now. But I feel like there's just like a lot of spiritual psychosis. So I have experienced spiritual psychosis. Let me tell you about that. I thought I was Jesus. Now, as I've grown in this journey, spiritual psychosis and what we're witnessing under this umbrella of spiritual, I don't believe that what people are experiencing within this rapture is spiritual psychosis. That's not what it looks like. That is brainwashing from cult. Like, that's group think. That is not spiritual psychosis. Spiritual psychosis is when your like spirit like breaks free from the confines of this human limited experience, and it's like your channels open, like your chakras open, and you start receiving information from other realms. Your clair abilities open up and start working. And it happens rapidly, so like that explains like manic behavior within spiritual psychosis. Now, manic behavior is, often given a diagnosis, and you can go look at the playlist that I read my master's thesis, because again, as someone who's experienced this, and now I'm understanding my spiritual gifts, but at the time I didn't have the language, I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the support around me, which is why I do all this work over here and break shit down, because the rapture is not psychosis. I mean, it's a form of psychosis just because like what you're saying is so unrealistic, it's crazy, but spiritual psychosis is more of an individual. I don't see that as the same thing, because the rapture is it's like confined within religion, whereas spiritual psychosis is the opposite. It's the releasing of indoctrination and finding your own path, but the abilities that come with that can lead to literal psychosis if you don't have, again, the proper space, support for that process. Then yes, you can be criminalized or incarcerated or medicated, which was what I went through. So within all of this, though, there is this elitism. Okay, so like Charlie Kirk has been given Jesus status at this point in time. People believe that the rapture means that all Jesus believers or followers of Christ are going to come back. Everyone's gonna hold hands around the earth, and they're gonna like be lifted up like it's like E.T. like they're gonna be given into this beam of light to go meet their God. Now, God is a whole nother conversation, because women on this planet are the ones who make humans and provide life and nurture life, also within nature, okay? So the fact that everyone even believes that they received their life from a handsome, I always get Ariel's dad from like the OG Little Mermaid as like what people believe Jesus or like God looks like, right? this old white man that's like very powerful and stern. So within all of these things, the patriarch energy harvesting. So energy harvesting is something that's happening continuously throughout this, right? Because think about the energy that the shooting caused the day that it happened, and how that energy has been like steadily progressing, with more theories, with more connections, with more ideas, I mean, I spend a lot of time on TikTok, and so I see a lot of people talking about this shit. It's fascinating to me. Oh, it's a baby. Oh, it's a... It's a baby. There's a baby here. I'm sorry. It wasn't a very graceful pickup. I apologize. Is that a baby? Oh, I'm sorry. You were just getting comfy too. I'm sorry, I want to hold a newborn. All I have is cats. So anyway, the elitism is, so like obviously, supremacy and elitism are one and the same. So when people think about strength in numbers, think about how powerful people feel when they're in a group of people versus, you know, when they're on their own, right? And think about that. So like, I know these numbers are hard to conceptualize. So like, think about how this shows up. So today there was this big ceremony, and a lot of people were actually at outside the stadium, and they were taking videos of how much litter was left over from the people who were like going to this funeral. And so it was like they just trashed the place, right? Because they couldn't take stuff inside with them. That's fascinating. So you're going to go pay respects and honor this person that I don't even know what this man's. I mean, I've learned a little bit since what happened about his beliefs, and I'm good on that. It made sense why I didn't know who this person was. But think about how the contradiction here, right? Like, you're littering on a planet that provides for you everything you need in honor of one man who talks shit and stuff. I mean, he could be dead. Israel could have killed him, but I really don't think he's dead. So the whole thing is that if this week, I already made a video a few days ago about the magic that you can do this weekend. We're coming up on the end of the weekend. Today, again, is a new moon. Really, really, really stick to doing your magical practices that keep you grounded. Call on whatever spirits you believe in to support you and protect you. And most importantly, be able to think critically about these things. Be able to understand the relationship between energy harvesting, spiritual psychosis, or cult thinking, okay? The elitism within that. So all these motherfuckers think that they're better than everybody and that they're gonna like not be on this planet. But like, these are the people whose beliefs are limiting them so much that they are causing the problems for all of humanity, right? I'm like, what? And the Abrahamic religions are based within this thought and idea. I mean, that's like global patriarch. And I did exploring esoterics. I haven't done one this week, but I did an exploring esoterics about world religion. So if you want to go talk about that or go watch that, we did talk about how the patriarch co-opted all of these religions, right? Because this planet was a matriarch, which is women-led, obviously, for billions of years, until these Abrahamic religions were placed. So there's a lot of decolonizing. There's a lot of internal work that needs to be done to even be able to be open to hearing these points of view. So if you're still here, I appreciate you. It's not easy, but it is. I mean, it's easy to see if you can kind of remove yourself from it and not take it personally and be like, whoa. It's part of the decolonizing process to make these relationships, it's part of the process. Like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You cannot unsee it. So there are plenty of rationally, ground. Hey, whoa, calm it down, bro. There are plenty of people who are fact checking and thinking about things differently, critically thinking, calling things out, talking about these things. And if you have the time and capacity for it, I highly recommend, because we're at a really interesting point in like human revolution. No, like evolution, but backwards. What would that be called? Ungrowth. People are really stupid when we have access to a lot of information, anything you could ever want, and people are choosing not to do that, and that's causing humanity and the planet a lot of problems. So, okay, thanks for being here. Have a good one.